Hey guys, Elizabeth, curly-haired country gal here. I'm logging 24 days of health as I work toward a slightly healthier weight and trying to do it in a really healthy, slow way. So I missed a few days this week, so I'm catching up. So here's days 11 and 12. On Wednesday with day 11, I was wanting to talk about intermittent fasting. So I was a little hesitant to do intermittent fasting at first because the idea, people do different lengths of time in between eating. I'm currently doing kind of like a 16-8 where I'll fast for 16 hours a day and then I'll eat during an 8-hour a day window. And then you just kind of eat the same amount that you normally would. It's just a smaller window of time. Is that I'm done eating at 6 p.m. and then I don't start eating until 11 a.m. So basically it's just like you're missing breakfast every day. And so growing up, when I started becoming more interested in health, I thought that that was not a good idea. But it does sound like there's a lot of benefits to limiting the window of time in which you're eating. I've been having stock in the morning. I don't know if that counts as breaking the fast or not, but that's what I've been doing. Intermittent fasting is kind of the first thing that goes out the window when I feel like, oh, I'm doing great. I don't have to be worried about my weight or my health. But it is a habit that I'm trying to get into more and get more consistent with. It does make me feel really good too. I don't like to sometimes because I'm stressed and I turn to food for comfort, and so I want to be eating, but I sleep really well when I get done eating earlier in the day, and I don't wake up with stomach aches. Normally, anytime past 6, especially if I have something sweet in the evening, I just wake up with a really bad tummy ache, but that doesn't happen when I stop eating sooner. And then in the morning, I've been having that stock, and it's been really satisfying until around 11 when I eat more. So, do you do intermittent fasting? I'd love to hear with other types of fasting, like fasting for a whole day or multiple days. I've heard that that is a lot harder on a woman's body than on a man's body because of how it impacts her hormones. So I don't do as much day-long fasting as I used to. I used to fast daily once a week on Sundays. But now right now I'm kind of in the season of doing more intermittent fasting. So correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I'd love to hear what you do. I know some people do a 20 and 4 fast where they only eat during a 4-hour window. And some people do like an 18, what would that be? 18-6. So anyway, intermittent fasting has a lot of health benefits. I can't really even speak to them accurately, but I believe they're there. Now on to number 12. Hey, me again. So now I'm going to talk about day 12, which should have been yesterday. And this topic is the next rung up, vegetables. Now on this food pyramid, it's actually in a separate category from fruit. So vegetables are recommended more frequently than fruit. And I think that is largely because of the sugar content. But this is interesting because when I first got more interested in trying to be a little bit healthier, maybe when I was late in my teens or something like that, I thought that health meant, okay, eat more vegetables. But it's interesting that it notes here that compared to animal foods, vegetables aren't that dense in nutrients, but they do still have some B vitamins and vitamin C and some other things that our body needs, some minerals. So they are important, and it makes sense that they're important because God gave them to us. But it's really those animal products is really where the nutrients come, which is really interesting. So that's why it's the next rung up on the ladder, vegetables, and more specifically, lacto-fermented vegetables, which I'll talk more about tomorrow. But you'll never guess what you're supposed to eat your vegetables with. That's right, fats. It's this recurring theme, as you can see. And I have heard of some raw diets where you eat everything raw, including vegetables. I think. I don't know much about raw diets, but it does say here that most vegetables should be eaten cooked, and it's because they have things that are really hard to digest. Some of the things like the salad greens and cucumbers don't need to be cooked, but a lot of things do. And so balance there is that the more you cook something, the more nutrients you destroy, but the less you cook something that needs to be cooked, the harder it is to digest. But it kind of breaks down here the vegetables that should be cooked more. For example, here in the cabbage family, they contain things that suppress your thyroid, so it's good to cook those to cook those out. And then the one that I knew of was some of the darker greens. the spinach, rhubarb, chard, etc. Those have a lot of oxalates, a lot of oxalic acid, and so you want to cook those down to get some of those out. And I've been learning about that because of the foraging fun that I've been having, learning about some of the plants around here, like plantain, I think is one of them, and I'm sure there's many others that are better to cook down before you eat them, or small pokeweed plants, better to cook those down to cook out the oxalates before you consume it. So that's the general introduction to vegetables, and tomorrow I'll talk about something that I'm really excited about and I think a lot of people are getting much more passionate about, which is ferments. Thanks for joining me. Bye.